And we are live. Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD, and I'm here with my man
Steve, real name no gimmicks, here for you on your life journey across the universe while you actualize and self-meditate upon your own beauty.
Oh my goodness.
That shit was no. And we have a very special guest today. My man, how are you?
I'm good, man. Shaolin Ice Boxer here. I can't follow it. I can't follow it.
That was right there. Here he is. He's being deep. He's being like lovely and sweet to people. And why am I a hater? Why am I like this?
It's the world, man. It's just made a cynic out of you. It's let you down time and time and time again. I'm not mad at you, brother. I'm not.
I'm mad at you. You failed. You failed the game of life. How you brothers doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. It's Acolyte night. I'm actually excited. Yeah. I love a show where you're excited to see the next episode. And I think we're going to be talking about a lot of show stuff today. There's a lot of we always do entertainment news. I like that there's actual entertainment to talk about now.
Absolutely, man. Yes, and I have to be honest with you, man. There's something about a show that galvanizes this much hate where I'm just like, man, I just can't wait to see the way this turns out. Like, it's first of all, I'm gonna jump right into honorable mentions. Grace Randolph, YouTube extraordinaire, OG on the platform. Let's give her flowers. She put up
I ain't giving her shit.
She put up a poll on her own Instagram. On her own X account, formerly known as Twitter, asking people about their level of excitement for Star Wars properties, right? Were they excited for the Grogu movie? Were they excited for the Filoni movie? Were they excited for this? Or were they just completely checked out? And I'm assuming that you have to be a follower of hers to participate in this, but you
don't have to.
Okay, right? Then that would make sense because then that would lend credence to the whole review bomb. Overwhelmingly, by a large margin, people voted they are not interested in Star Wars at all anymore. And then we had Looper weighing in. I don't know if you guys are up on this. Looper released a video that has now been taken down that some people are considering a hit piece against certain YouTube content creators. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
If you notice, the three major stories that I put in our title were The Boys, The Acolyte, and the YouTube conspiracy. And the YouTube conspiracy touches on what you just talked about. We're going to get into that. But it has to do with something's going on over there.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Something's going on in those YouTube streets, man. We got, it's the world's going crazy, my brothers. But here we are at Fanboy, yet again to be your guiding ship of rationale.
So here's the whole thing. I just realized, I've decided today, it's not cool to be a conservative anymore. I'm going to put you on.
Okay.
Basically, it is cool to be whatever party is having the most fun. And so I'll give you an example. In the early 2000s, when the Republicans were blamed for, maliciously, whether you believe or not, getting us into Iraq, getting us into wars we weren't supposed to, everyone universally hated on Republicans. And you had every this was the golden age of the Daily Show. Every comedian was dissing on them. Everyone was having a good time, and it was great to be a liberal. It was great to be a Democrat.
Right.
Where did it go wrong? As soon as liberals started getting butthurt about stuff, it wasn't cool to be a liberal anymore. The moment that one of their comedians made a joke and they would cancel their own person, it wasn't fun. These people are curmudgeons, they're lame, they're Karens. People who rant and rave are Karens, right? It's like, oh, you're so butthurt, you are a Karen right now. Right. And this reaction to the Acolyte and to the boys is getting this as well, getting trashed as well.
Yeah.
It's conservatives who are butthurt.
They are.
And quite frankly, I'm not having fun right now with these guys. Because here's what I'm saying. I know both things are making statements about conservatism or things, right? But it's not going to make me not watch it. I'm not so butthurt that I'm like, I can't turn on Star Wars. It offends me.
And here's the thing about the boys, too. The boys got smoke for everybody, right?
Yeah.
The first thing Homelander says when you see him It's how we have a fucktard, or no, a libtard. What do you say? A libtard idiot in the White House.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
basically the way they treat superheroes, we all know they're really making fun of Hollywood because those superheroes are basically making fun of actors and stuff, right?
Right.
And that's all Democrats. And so the boys have for years made fun of both sides. Absolutely. Everyone, they're like South Park. They take shots at everybody. Yeah. So I don't know why people are so butthurt about Firecracker or whatever.
I gotta say though, man, I have made this observation myself, and I want to be clear. I don't adhere to either polarity necessarily, but I got to be clear. I have noticed that a lot of the conservatives ain't having fun anymore. They are just curmudgeonly angry about every little thing. They look like little crybaby bitches sometimes. I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but I'm just saying.
They've become that, and it's really unfun. And like now, it's like I want to run and hide now because I'm like, well, this isn't cool.
The crazy thing about what you both are saying about the conservatives not having fun is, here's the problem: they lack the ability, the mainstream ones as well, to really practice what they preach. You hear so many conservatives like, oh man, if Dave Chappelle makes a joke, that joke doesn't bother me. But the minute some popular media doesn't represent what they feel is an accurate description of their viewpoint or their behaviors, they fall to shambles. They absolutely fall to shambles. And I agree with both of you, man. The Boys has got smoke for everyone. I think it's an accurate representation. I mean, for God's sakes, the episode with Will Ferrell being the speedster,
like the Blind Side parody,
a white savior.
That is amazing.
I love that the director's like, "What's that I smell?" An Academy Award. The show is amazing. Great things are happening. People are butthurt. I don't like butthurt people, and I certainly don't like being around butthurt people. They are just a drag, right?
Right.
And so I'm gonna ride the conservative train until it crashes into the ocean. Right. But who do you want to start with first? Do you want to start with honorable mentions, maybe?
Yeah, let's do honorable mentions because I got to give someone you put me onto some props. Let me make sure, I'm always going to keep it consistent. Like, when you tried to call me out about the Tupac thing, did you really think I was going to give that man all his flowers just because he's post-mortem? I just wanted to build people up. I wanted them to be pulled in by the beautiful...
Because he was post-mortem and you were on the air. And I was like, oh, well, he's on the air. He loves Tupac.
No. And then right when I get you right where I want you, I'm like, but he was a garbage rapper. Let's just be real.
Right at the very end. You pulled up, but it really looked like you were nosediving into the ocean, and then you pulled up. For those who don't know, we're talking about Steve's last show on Mic Check, where it was the anniversary of the death of Tupac, and Steve was. Oh, his birthday, and it felt like he was praising them. For those who don't know, Steve normally takes huge dumps on the name and the memory of Tupac. And I was like, "What? This isn't a consistent worldview." That's what I said to myself. But at the last minute, you dissed him, and I appreciate that.
Hold on. I gotta ask real quick. I just have to. I already know, but for the people out there, can you clarify why you have such disdain for the GOAT? I'm joking. I don't think he's the GOAT. I don't think he's the GOAT.
Just triggered much.
Here's the thing, and I've said this before, man. It's not Tupac, right, that I have so much smoke for. I have a lot of smoke for his fans. His fans are just his diehards, his tryhards are some of the worst people to be around. And here's the thing I really want people to remember. I'm 43, right? I remember the inception of Tupac, and I remember the character arc, the switch up, which was Juice, where he became an uber thug. We're talking about a guy that used to be a background dancer for Digital Underground, the Humpty Hump dance, man.
Why do you always have to bring that up?
It doesn't take away from him being an amazing poet or writer.
You got to start somewhere. That's all I'm saying. Like, even J-Lo was one of the fly girls on freaking In Living Color.
You have to bring her up,
and if her fans started saying she was really Jenny from the block, I would have smoke for them too. Listen. Let me explain something to you. To all you thuggin' fools out there, right? You are the same type of people that just turned on Drake, man. You guys cannot be consistent on who's in and who's out, man. This man had a high top fade, and he was doing the running man for Humpty Hump. And the next thing I know, he's packing pistols, and no one wants to call his card. No one wants to give him smoke. You know what I'm saying? Forget all that. But I got to give you props, Mr. Mantis. That fake Twitch streaming wannabe conservative little white girl that you love so much really impressed me the other day. What's her name? Brittany. What is her name?
Oh,
Becky?
Brett Cooper.
Brett Cooper, man. I don't know if you guys have been hiding under a rock, you and Shaolin, man, but some real serious shit went down on the internet recently, man. We had a woman who they are now portraying as a trad wife cooking and talking about how all her broke friends, she's a white woman, by the way, all her friends are married to broke ass niggas, right?
I did see this, yeah.
And then when she came back, she doubled down and said she could not find any cares. And then, after being allegedly fired from her job, she put up an X post that says, "Thank you, Black community. You played your part well, like the puppet you are. Thank you for helping me launch my career in conservative media." And your girl actually called out something that's rare for conservatives, right? Everyone's dick riding, right? Officer Tatum is over there like, you should be able to say what you want to say, and if you want to use the N-word, be free. I've always said,
Was that his take?
Yes. I'm like, hey, white people, listen to me. If you want to say the N-word, go right ahead. But you must then be willing to take any consequences that come with it.
Right. And that's it's not just the N-word, it's all freedom of speech. All freedom of speech has consequences.
Yes,
and a lot of times people think it means freedom of speech means they're protected from the consequences, which is bizarre.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. And so if you're dropping N-bombs, you're losing your job.
You say what's on your mind. But I will say, in Homegirl's defense, your girl, the fake streamer with the fake headphones on, she did say this is not the type of person that we should be rallying behind as conservatives. And I was like, now that took a lot of balls to say. That it did. It took a lot of balls to say that because
that right pissed me off. I'm glad she said that because I was steaming out the ears a little bit. That's why I don't fuck with none of it.
Yes, right. No, I agree. I agree.
That's okay, when that mic ain't hot, that's the kind of discourse they're having. I'm just saying.
Right.
So that's why I stay in my lane and sip my my jasmine tea out of my Mandalorian mug and mind my business, man. Because this tolerate that.
This trad wife, though, she was trying to be provocative for a while because they found another video of hers where she drops the F slur.
Oh.
Yeah.
On dudes who don't want to have children.
Right.
She was like, "What are you, a bunch of F?" And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, she is trying to get known for her mouth,
looking for a come up. I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
She's trying to get known for her mouth the wrong way. Listen, lady, all you got to do is make some good sandwiches, and your mouth will get filled. Someone's gonna pick you up, man.
Right? She claims to be a trad wife, but she had a job that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. What the hell? What are you doing outside the house talking like that?
Your husband allows you to work? Yeah, right.
And to own a camera? I'm not buying this whole act.
Yeah, right. Like, who taught her how to use a digital camera? That's ridiculous.
But that's my honorable mention. And I think it links up with you and the conservatives not having fun. And Courtney, this is a thing that I think you and Mantis can relate to. Y'all have both lived in the South. You currently, you guys have roots there. I have roots there. But I find this whole discourse around the word nigga or nigger very, very interesting because it's predominantly a conversation that intellectuals have up north. Listen to me very carefully. Any white person that uses that word down south either lives in close proximity of black people or they hate black people. But both can experience the same consequence depending on which black person they encounter.
Okay, we'll say this, and I think this might be a Southern thing too. Or, as I've had to explain to several coworkers over the years, just because you are dating a black man, this is always the women. It's always the women who do this. Does not give you the right to use that word. Like, someone was like, she's like, well, I got a mulatto baby. I was like, that doesn't mean you can drop an N-bomb in the fucking middle of Starbucks, bitch. Like,
are you going to use that baby as a shield when they're coming down on you like a ton of bricks?
They think they're invited into the club as soon as they start banging. They're not even married, banging a black dude.
I mean, Bex would say that this is the fault of black men, and I'm waiting for Bex to say that. Bex, you chime in when you're ready. You let us know.
She's going to. I can't wait. Yo, my honorable mention has to do with our girl Candace Owens. And so check this out. I am so in love. Here's what it is. I love that she's back on the air, and I love to see her talk. Like I've said, that show needs production.
Right.
I think it like they didn't. It's literally like she. Let me put it like this: she doesn't even know how to YouTube as good as the weakest YouTubers.
Oh my goodness!
Right? She puts up a camera. She's just talking to it. I'm like, you are a professional, girl. Get it together. But this is not the honorable mention part. She got me to believe a conspiracy theory that is so ridiculous that like it's so utterly ridiculous. Like I'm ashamed that I buy into it. But watching one episode of Candace Owens, I believe in it. It was it is that the president of France's wife
as a dick
is a dude. Yes. And originally I thought she said that to be provocative and to cause trouble, because she actually said, I will bet my career that woman was born a man.
Right.
And people are like, that's ridiculous. However, she laid down her evidence in her latest episode, and I am completely convinced that chick is a dude.
Yeah, I want to let credence to this for entertainment reason, but we all watched you on air with that psychopath Terrence Howard. That episode started off with you saying he's a crazy person, and then I watched your demeanor shift. You're like, he might be on to something. I'm like, don't get your ass out there.
I never trusted math in the first place.
Look here. I can't believe you're gonna make me talk about this woman. Hold on a second.
Please talk her.
Do you know what tomorrow is?
Juneteenth.
Oh, it's Juneteenth, man.
Do you know what she said about Juneteenth?
I think she said it was a bullshit ass holiday. I think she had some insults flying his way, like it's not a real holiday. People can celebrate it.
She said it was fake and ghetto.
Oh, she said it was ghetto.
Fake and ghetto.
Right.
That is all I need to say about her.
Now I remember when she said that, my brother. She did have that video evidence.
I vaguely. Here's what I remember: everyone from the Daily Wire was coming down on Juneteenth, and I remember she went particularly hard on it.
Yeah,
So-
wait, forget the crackers. I want to talk about, because she brought up that shit with fucking. It's we on that type of energy tonight. We're talking about when she had the video, Candace Owens, that is. She had the video of people just wilding out on a boat party and fighting each other, and it was Juneteenth. And this is some stuff I wish we can keep off the internet.
Well, I'm saying this entire weekend, that's the whole thing. You heard about all these shootings going on? Like most of them were in Juneteenth parties. That's not a good look
at all.
So look, it's not a good look, right? Nobody's gonna, dispute any of that, right?
Right.
My thing about Candace Owens, in my opinion, okay, I feel like she often puts on those tap dancing shoes to make Massa happy. Okay.
In which case, last year it was the Daily Wire. She was,
because she did not have to go that hard on Juneteenth, and I know for a fact it was to appease her audience. We all know what her audience looks like.
Right.
I will say this too. All right. What really pissed me off about her, okay, was after she got canned from the Daily Wire. It wasn't as grand as I've seen it before. It wasn't Stacey Dash level, right?
Oh, Stacey Dash.
But I did notice she was starting to try to get on more black talking.
Of course.
Trying to make a black apology tour. I'm like, no, stay your ass over there. Okay.
No, here's what it is. She's gonna slow. Well, I got bad news for you, brother. She's gonna slowly do the apology tour, and it's gonna work. They're gonna accept her completely back, and there will be no ramifications for her house niggery.
Can I ask you guys a question? Have either of you guys read an excerpt or listened to any of her book Blexit before?
No.
All right, so a lot of the stuff that Candace Owens, and let me make sure I want to make sure I say this off the bat, right? I am in no way, shape, or form defending any coonery, right? You got to lay in the bed you make, right? You say some way out shit, you got to live with that shit. But her original inception, or what she espoused before when she was coming up with the Blexit thing, was that black people need to leave the quote unquote plantation of the Democratic Party, right?
Agreed.
Here's the thing that really bugs me out though, right? A broke clock can be right twice in one day, right? Just because Candace's character could be called into question, does that mean that everything she said should be thrown out?
Of course not. And so this is my thing. Every time I say this about content creators, I don't think there's a single content creator, not even the martial arts ones, that I agree with everything they say. There are times that people say the dumbest shit. And I was like, I can't believe I watch you, but that's your opinion on this, and I just have to deal with it. You know, the other day, Icy Mike, I look up to this guy so much, said the dumbest shit. Well, I'm not going to get into it because that could be a story of its own, but he said the dumbest thing I've ever heard a human say on the air. And I was like, I can't believe I watched every one of this guy's videos. However, we need to put our, like, you know, for the moment we're fuming, we need to put that away because we realize they give us good shit. Right. And so, like, for instance, I don't agree with Candace Owens about her thoughts on Juneteenth, but I agree with a lot of things she says. Yes. And so, therefore, I don't have to let that one opinion completely control.
I want to go on the record in saying this, man, and I appreciate you for saying that, brother. Also, Candace Owens is not the only person that gave smoke to Juneteenth, man. Y'all need to come over with me to the revolutionary black side of the internet. I'll send you guys some links.
Fuck that.
Yo, there's some brothers and sisters over there, and these are people for the people, by the people, who hate the concept of Juneteenth. They hate Black History Month. They hate Kwanzaa, and it's like they are literally espousing.
Well, I mean, who doesn't hate Kwanzaa?
My Jewish teacher in grade school loved Kwanzaa.
I bet, because she's such a good ally. The truth is, I don't know any black people who celebrate Kwanzaa. It's as fake as it gets. However, Juneteenth is a real thing. Juneteenth is celebrating an actual event that happened. Kwanzaa, some bullshit some drunk motherfucker made up to justify his position as a college African studies professor.
Mantis, man. Boy.
Okay, wait, hold on. Actually, I'm going to ask this right now. Courtney, do you celebrate Kwanzaa?
Hell no.
Oh, boom. There we go. So, if there is a black person who actually celebrates Kwanzaa, come forth. We'd like to interview you.
And that's legit because I don't know anybody either.
I told you guys, my stepfather, in his mighty, confused militant wisdom, told me one year, literally stopped me while I was walking down the hallway in our apartment in Harlem. He's like, "Hey, come here for a second. You know how they talk to you when they're deep in the deep."
And you eye roll him. You're like, he's gonna talk to me about some shit. Damn it.
He's like, "Hey, come here for a second. So I want to let you know, we will no longer be celebrating Christmas in this house. From now on, we will celebrate Black History Month." And I looked this man in the eye and I was like, "Does my mother know that you're smoking crack? Because I'm gonna go tell her what you said right now." Bex does not seem to agree that Candace Owens' tour to rejoin the black community is going to work. And to that, I say, Bex, did you happen to see the Trump rally where he got prosecuted and so many black people were there and they related to the Trump experience? Black people, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, look, let me say this. All right. I'm not saying I know for sure. All right. But how much of that shit do y'all think is staged? And not even it being like a black person, right? Like him carrying those pizzas in to like firefighters.
So I'll tell you this. The reason why I don't think it's staged, I'll tell you this. Normally I would think it's staged. However, my man is broke. He is beyond broke. They sued the crap out of him. They're hitting him on everything. He's losing buildings. They're going to rename Trump Tower. This guy has nothing. He couldn't afford black people to pretend to like him. He could not afford that shit.
Okay.
And so
the other side.
And what's really happening is here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people are having a flip where they're like suddenly like they're like, we don't think that he's a rich white man who has oppressed us the entire time. Here's the entire thing, and Democrats, as usual, are doing it to themselves. The alternative is shit.
Yep.
Biden is just a pile of shit. And then the other thing is you're like, well, at least Trump is breathing. At least Trump came to my community. He says stupid things. Did you see him with those rappers? Rappers I've never heard of. When he went to the Bronx, he's like, "Here's some rappers," and then he sees one of them. They have gold fronts, and he's like, "Gold teeth? I need to get me some of those." And he was being straight up old man cringe.
Yeah,
that doesn't make him likable. But here's what I'm saying: Biden wouldn't be able to even think of those sentences because he's too busy dribbling on himself.
I would not be surprised if there is a contingent of the Black community, African American community for sure, that relates to the narrative that Trump is being persecuted and wrongfully prosecuted by a corrupt system. Now, in the immortal words of a wise man by the name of Malcolm X, the chickens have come home to
roost. Yeah.
So here's the crazy thing, man. I have no real sympathy for Trump because it's like this is the system that has been created and now it's claimed one of your own, right? But I can see people relating to that. So I'm never surprised by how the political needle moves in regards to our community. But I do want to say this, man. The boys. I just got to say
the boys.
Let's
get to the
good
boys.
segue.
That was a good segue.
The boys. With the boys, with two of my favorite gentlemen, man. This did not disappoint, man. I stayed away from any commentary on YouTube with people with funny banners and they use the word woke in inappropriate ways and everything is woke. And I also stay away from places where there are people with dyed hair who are crying and they were at Kavanaugh's proceedings and they were banging on the door as if that, it doesn't open the other way. You just got to pull the latch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So walking into this first episode, I was quickly reminded how much I missed it, man. How much I missed this show.
I really missed it too. Yeah, that was very true. Very true.
And this is one of the few things where I just think it's vastly superior. I'm going to say it, my words are my words, to the source material. The source material for The Boys is some wild shit, man.
I had the displeasure of reading the entire thing. Here's the thing. Here's the whole thing. Back in Charlottesville, I had a friend who owned a comic store. And what it was is like we were boys and stuff, and he would hook me up. However, I usually had to buy whatever comics he suggested, and he always suggested The Boys, and I always hated reading it. I was like, this is crap. But I read it anyway. Well, because I'll read any comic, and I love it or whatever. I agree. It is, the source material is garbage.
It's just vastly superior, and I have to say, after the way last season ended with the entire crescendo of, what's his Homelander's father, what's his Soldier Boy, the death of Black Noir, the Deep having sex with an octopus. I was just like, there's no way you top this, man. Everything that happened with Butcher and the actual boys, man, and him. Yeah. Meeting up with the wife again, girls get it done. It was just masterful. And I'm happy to say, stepping into the first episode, I realized that this is going to be another amazing season. And then my heart sunk a little bit because I know next season is the final season. So this season has a lot of stuff to carry on its back. But what did you guys think of the first episode?
So real quick side note, I'm actually happy that next season is the last season.
Amen.
It tells me they're gonna put a button on it the proper way instead of letting it just piddle out,
right?
In garbage like quality. So I appreciate that.
Right, I'm with it.
But so the first episode, look, like I said earlier, I mean they came in hot. I mean, in the first 5 minutes, Homelander's calling Joe Biden a libtard. A soft on crime libtard is what he said.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but here's what I'm saying. Isn't that what a superhero would think?
Oh, I mean, one like Homelander, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, blow people's heads off,
Right.
But nah, look, just as shocking, you know what I mean? Shocking and gross. But there's substance. There's substance, in the core. Like there's more to this person. You know what I mean? Right. I gotta say, what's the chick who's running for president? What's her name?
Victoria Newman.
Victoria Newman. Her daughter.
That was wild. That was
wild. Jump scared me. Legitimately jump scared me. I had no idea that shit was gonna happen. And they just bring, surprises and stuff like that in, throughout, and I appreciate it. It's well done, very well done.
I absolutely loved it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to review episode 1, 2, and 3 because I watched them back to back, so they're all blurred. I don't know where one starts and one ends. Yeah. But I will say I absolutely loved it. And I agree with you. I realized within 20 minutes of watching, I was like, I miss these fuckers. It's been like 2 years since we've seen an episode of this, and I'm right back where it is. Obviously before I went in, I already was getting slammed with this. It's woke and it's anti blah 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 and all that stuff, and I'm like, woke? Why? Because a sister joins the cast? I don't even understand, man. Like, what is? Yo, it's the 7, and there are like 6 whiteys, and 1 black girl walks in, and somehow it's woke, right? And so, or like with Firecracker, that new member of the 7. Yes, she is. They're making fun of Lauren Boebert. They're making fun of QAnon, but they make fun of everything on the boards.
They do.
But why should those things not be made fun of? Hear me out for a second.
They're fun. They're certainly funny. QAnon is very funny.
Bro, I watched the documentary on QAnon, man, and I wish I hadn't watched it because it wasn't that it was bad. It was just so accurate in reporting the events and the rise of QAnon. It doesn't really take a position on if Q is real or not. It just does what a documentary is supposed to do. Let me give you the historical facts, not the context. This is what happened historically. And when I think about QAnon and some of the intelligent people I know that would send me freaking links, and I'm just like, bro, please, for the love of God, get off the internet. You need help. I'm glad they're making fun of it, right? I'm glad they made fun of the white savior in the fucking Will Ferrell scene in episode 2, man.
Oh, man, that was hysterical.
It is the perfect reflection of the mediocrity that sane people like us live under, and it's entertaining. There's nothing woke about this show. People just don't like to see their position questioned in any way, shape, or form.
That's what it is at the end of the day. That's really what it is. Yo, stand out for me, though. A lot of people are indifferent about her. A lot of people don't like her. But I actually like Sister Sage very much.
Oh, very much.
I love her.
Yo, she... you know what I love the most? The subtle thing with her name, how she actually goes by Sage. But Boss is like, no, we gotta make this more Afrocentric, so we're gonna call you Sister. So we're gonna throw the sister in front of it, call you Sister Sage, right?
Yeah, like she said, she's like, you always got a moniker to make sure they know, and so like it's true. It starts with black. You're either black or sister or some shit right there.
Black Lightning, Black Panther,
Black Noir or whatever.
Right. But the thing, and I'm gonna go back to what you said, both of you said, how this is better than the source material. She's not in the comic books, right?
No.
So no, this here's what it is. This is the first time they've drastically are doing their own thing. And so here's what it is. Last season the Soldier Boy story is completely different.
Right.
But still the major strokes of last season were normal. Right? And so they changed one storyline. Okay. This one, neither of those characters are in the comic. Or if they are in the comic, because there's so many superheroes in the comic, they're not major characters. They certainly join the 7. So they're doing whatever they want. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I don't like the source material so much, so I'm into it. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. What are you gonna say, Courtney? Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, what I particularly like about her, I mean, superpowers that she's super smart, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that intrigues me the most is that there's clearly, some sort of ulterior motive going on here. You know what I mean?
So,
go ahead.
This is the thing that bothers me, and I can't believe people are stupid enough. I can't believe Homelander is stupid enough to fall for it.
Right. Yeah.
You cannot trust a super smart person.
No.
Because they're going to outsmart you. And so he hired her to play other people. Well, guess what, idiot? She's playing you too.
Yes.
Yeah. She is going to have enough evidence or whatever to frame you or make you look like an asshole or lead you to your death. You cannot trust a super smart person.
Absolutely.
A super smart person either is in control of everything or not, but they can't be a henchman ever because they'll never be satisfied.
Yeah, here's a great thing, man, that I'm loving about this and why I love Sister Sage, man. Because there's 2 ways they can go with the character, right? You're correct, my brother. You cannot trust the super ability or the Dragon Age character or the D&D character who has a maxed out wisdom. You can't trust them, right?
Right,
Because they're always sticking ahead. For God's sake, look what happened in The Watchmen, right? Dr. Manhattan going up against, what's my man's name?
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias. He outsmarted basically a god.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
And it's the smart ones that are always duplicitous.
But here's the thing I enjoy about her interaction.
Fuck a smart person.
Those good language speaking. Here's what I enjoy about her interactions with Homelander. Yes, I believe she has the ability to maneuver Homelander, but Homelander has something that I like to call the focus of an idiot, right? Idiots always seem to outlast smart people because idiots have one trait that their shallowness allows them to be singularly focused on whatever their goals are. And no matter what happens this season, at least to me, in episode 3, he most certainly got under her skin when he basically was standing next to her and she's like, I know you did this because I questioned you in public.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Now
Right.
get over there and mingle. Because it's the same thing with Bane. Remember that great scene, probably the only great scene in the Bane Batman movie, where he puts his hand on Homeboy and he's like,
Right. And he's like, do you feel in charge?
Yeah.
because she's not
It's a great scene.
Ozymandias, man. Ozymandias was dangerous because he was intelligent, and then Rorschach lets us know, like, yo, there's no one scarier to fight than this dude. Unless she turns out to have a second ability, she's just smart, man. But I am enjoying what's happening. And I just want to call it early. She killed that damn octopus. Remember when her and the Deep are having sex on the thing?
Okay, no, I hear what you're saying. So, obviously, spoiler alert to anyone who doesn't know. We are going to talk spoilers in this review. So there's so much internet debate about what we're looking at, right? And so, I hear you. So what it is that for everyone who don't know, the Deep comes in there and he wants to fight, but really she wants to fuck. And so she starts flirting with him, and they get it on, right? And so it pans over and we see a bloody tool sitting there, and the internet is debating what it is. And so a theory, Steve just said he thinks she killed the octopus. Right. A theory that is going around the internet, and I like this theory, is that she gets tired of thinking. And here's the thing. I wish they had shown it instead of just, but on her list of powers, she has regeneration.
Really?
Yes, and so people think, and people are claiming that the tool, and I can't confirm this. I looked it up. I don't know what these things look like. They're like, that's a lobotomy tool from like the 50s.
So I heard,
much better. That's much better.
And people are saying that she gave herself a lobotomy, and like, the old school lobotomy is you go around the eye.
Yeah.
And then you to make herself dumber.
Yeah.
To take a break from being smart. Ooh. And so people point out that the reason why, like when the Deep comes in, she's like, do you want to watch Transformers 2 with those racist guys?
Most idiotic movie in existence.
Yeah, and they're just sitting. Yeah, it's the dumbest movie, and she's sitting there, and she's like, I had a long day, and she doesn't seem very smart, does she? In that scene, which is why I think there is something to this theory.
Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% believe that theory. I think she lobotomized herself.
I like that.
I mean, look, she's sitting there watching that dumbass movie. You lose like 5 IQ.
Horrible movie.
That's the worst Transformers movie. I don't like Transformers movies, and that's the worst of them.
Right. And she entertains the Deep. I mean, come on now, like
the Deep, yeah, right, the Deep.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm saying. Like, I really thought during that show, she was going to get with Homelander. I really thought that they had the sexual attention.
Oh no, Homelander is disgusted by black people, and they've made that like entirely apparent. Like, right. unless you're his equal, like he's disgusted by them,
and no one is his equal in his mind, right?
Bro, can I just say something to you guys, man? I just want to give a shout out to Mother's Milk, the blackest motherfucker next to Blade. Even though he's played by a Latino dude who's still black, I'm not going there. Don't worry, you won't get any of that. Afro-Latino, you won't get any of that hate from me. But Mother's
Milk isn't black.
The actor, he's Afro-Latino, man.
Oh wow!
How do you think he talks like that? You're from New York, you know that.
Cuban, I believe.
Okay, it's just like it's like finding out Superman is British.
Bro, Mother's Milk is one of my favorite characters, man, and I just got to say he is thoroughly delivered. I'm actually glad this is somewhat divorcing itself from the source material, because I don't know. Spoiler for the source material: the butcher kills Mother's Milk in a hand-to-hand fight. He loses the fight, but I believe he pulls a Shane from fucking the Shield and kills him with a grenade, and that shit pisses me off so much. But I love Mother's Milk, and I love that Sister Sage outmaneuvered him. In fact, too easily, in my opinion. Like, that's why I think she's definitely playing 4D chess with all of them. I was like, Mother's Milk wouldn't have walked into a trap like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be something else going on here, or maybe he did. And unfortunately, I had to watch multiple men give himself. Oh
God! I was gonna eventually talk about that, but I have to say this.
Oh my goodness!
I really wish on the streaming app they gave, like, you know, an R-rated version of it, and then like an NC-17 or like an X version, because they really don't need all these sex scenes. They don't need all these dick shots.
They don't.
There's no reason to do any of it. And like, I wouldn't mind if Frenchie and Kimiko opened the door and just looked grossed out and left. I would be fine with that. Why do you have to show me that scene?
Because it's the boys.
You know, it's the boys. And yeah, in Gen V, I feel so bad for that actress. There's one scene with a girl who can shrink, and she's riding a dude's dick, like literally riding a guy's dick up and down. That I did not need to see that. I did not need to. As long as I live, I did not have to see that image in my.
Really quick, and I want. Oh man, this is how genius this shit is. I love that Sister Sage maneuvered the 3 Homelander fans into being murdered brutally by the Deep, Black Noir, and fucking just those 2. But you know what's crazy? I guess everyone was wrong.
And A-Train was there.
Yeah, and A-Train's there. I guess everyone was wrong about their Gen V or whatever that show was called, about their Black Noir pick. Because apparently it's just some confused thespian that's ready to kill. And I mean, he didn't even hesitate. He was just like,
okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I never believed the Black Noir was going to be this weird kid from Gen Z. I never thought that was going to happen.
Okay.
I didn't. I know a lot of people say they're like, he's going to be Black Noir. Why would you want someone who's like doesn't know where he is half the time posing as Black Noir? You want someone who is an incompetent agent. Although it's funny that they got it once again, making fun of Hollywood, making fun of actors.
Right.
The guy's like, what's my motivation?
It's hilarious because it's such a dichotomy from the way he was before. He
right.
Talk. He was quiet. He was badass. He got the job done.
Oh, I miss him. I miss the real one.
And then you flip to now, and he's some clueless idiot who doesn't know what the hell's going on.
I love when they get on the stage and A-Train's like, yo, cool it.
Pull it back.
Pull it back, bro.
I love when he's talking to the fucking redhead assistant who pulls her hair out, and he's like, "Yeah, so real quick, living in Black Noir's apartment, there's a lot of karate stuff there, but from what I can tell, he didn't know any karate." Absolutely amazing, bro. That's absolutely amazing. One of my favorite Black Noir scenes is, remember, I think it was season 2 when Homelander sends him after the boys, and they know Noir's coming after him. But there's just something about him in the broad daylight across the street on top.
Oh, he's on the roof.
Yeah. It was just freaking amazing, bro.
Yeah, it's really funny what they do, and this was better because you know about the very controversial comic book thing about Black Noir.
Yeah.
It's so obnoxious. I really hope they don't do it.
I hope so too. But
I hope that's not the ending. But
that was the perfect ending to the story in that regard. It was just, there's some stuff I hope they don't do in The Boys, right? And this is just me. This is my tap out right here, man. I do not need Homelander eating a baby. I don't need to see that. It doesn't need to be on the screen. I'm good on that. I think that was my issue with the source material. It's like there's pushing the envelope, and then there's just like,
Well, that's the thing. The source material was all about shock value. They really had a mini series called Herogasm, and it was all sheer pornography. The issue 1 of The Boys is just all the male characters whipping their dicks out like every other page, and they show it. And that's not my idea of a fun comic. I don't know about anyone else, but I certainly don't want to see it on the screen.
Absolutely.
Right.
For those who don't know. I actually love it that they made the set, like, here's what's good writing, in my opinion. In The Boys, the comic, all the male characters of the Seven are all sexual deviants who all are rapists.
Yes.
What they decided to do in the show is each character is unique and has their own issues, and only the Deep is the one who's interested in getting blowjobs, forcing girls to give him blowjobs. He's the one who's the sexual deviant. Everyone else has some other shit going on. And I'm glad they didn't make it, because in the original one, all of them force Starlight to give them head.
Oh yeah, it was Homelander and Black Noir,
Noir, the Deep, all of them, and I'm so glad they didn't go there, because they also gave them different issues, different things, and they made them unique or whatever. And so I do really think they're doing a great job of like separate. Here's what it is: obviously they keep sex stuff in to honor the comic book. Right. And honor, I guess, the creator of the comic book, but I'm glad that they don't necessarily go as far as the comic book, because the comic book is just gross.
Are we gonna talk about the skeleton in the room? Because I need you guys to put me on, man. Because last season is a blur. Because last season felt like 3 seasons in itself. It was so masterfully done, in my opinion. Billy Butcher has a tumor in his head, and he is making his rounds as a character that, for all intents and purposes, looks like he's going to be making his exit and dying in the last season, right? But there seems to be something squiggling around in his head. Is that a little dick inside his head? Is that, remember?
Wait, is that what you? I did not get that. I did not get that.
There was something last season with like microscopic penises, or did I
oh no, it was, you're thinking about the dude that could shrink.
Yeah, the shrink dude was getting into dudes' dicks, because because they had to do it. But that's not the thing. This is once again not something that's in the comics. That he has a brain tumor or whatever, and so this is like a new thing. Although I like it, it is interesting that they're making something move around in there. So who knows where that's headed? That's going to be some crazy.
I think it's just the side effect of that the V that gives you powers for a day. Okay. They warned him last season multiple times to stop using that shit.
Right. Obviously that is, but here's what I'm saying. In a world where characters resurrect and people have weird powers, I wouldn't be surprised they find a way to save him.
Yeah, you're right.
Kill whatever that thing is inside his head.
Obviously, the whatever that is going to eat the tumor, man. But Rico just tapped in and said, because Rico asked, is Black Noir dead? Yes, he is dead in this season, Rico, and they have a replacement. And then Rico responds, top 5 superhero deaths. Honestly, yes. Black Noir's death was a tearjerker, man. When his little furry animated friends came around to say goodbye to him and they were all crying, bro, I literally, no diddy.
Season 3, that was.
I paused it and I got up and I had to walk away for a second because I was like, man, I didn't expect it to impact me that much.
Yo, so here's the thing. So this is why I appreciate The Boys, right? Because people give it a lot of shit for being what it is, and rightfully so. But that scene was incredibly memorable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Like,
right.
Yeah, right.
That is so original and so kooky and so well done.
And actually, the main comic book was super repetitive. I think they're doing a great job of like making the seasons feel different and making, like you said, memorable things happen and all sorts of things. I love it. I don't know how to answer Pokey's thing, because he said memorable superhero deaths. Notoriously, superheroes come back from the grave, so their their deaths are meaningless, right?
Yeah.
The superhero death that rocks me the most, I'm going to be honest, I was actually a fan, and I wasn't alive at the time, but I read his back issues. Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel.
The real Captain Marvel.
And so, he dies of space cancer or whatever. Yeah. And the last, like the graphic novel that depicts his final end as he's slowly dying, he's still being a hero, is so utterly amazing. And I gotta say, the MCU is such trash for completely ignoring that.
100%. And also, to this date, still the only character that has not been resurrected. Like,
everyone and their mother gets resurrected. Villains get resurrected. All sorts of things. Captain Marvel, not so much.
It leads me to believe that there's something with them and the writer and the rights to that character where they're just like, we can't bring it back. Like, well, they'll sue us into the ground. I want to ask you guys, man, really quickly. So, what do you think Sister Sage's ultimate plan is? Anyone want to take a shot at that?
It's hard for me to predict, man. That's why I'm loving it. I have no idea what's going to happen. No clue.
I agree, and I really have no idea, because once again, the only thing we know about her is when he goes to see her, she's has books all around her or whatever. I wonder if here's what it is. I wonder if she's also a mutant supremacist, but she just doesn't want to be led by him, and she wants to be the leader, the queen, or whatever. Maybe that's it. But I don't know enough about this woman to know what she wants. I do know she's playing him.
Part of me wonders if she's going to be like some kind of triple agent. Maybe she'll link up with the boys or something like that. Like, I don't know.
So, I mean, here's what it is. I want you guys all to put yourselves in the shoes of like a superior being. You're a minority group on the planet that has superhuman abilities.
So my everyday life.
How could you not be a mutant supremacist? That's what I don't understand.
You know what's crazy about it in the way they're doing it as opposed to the way it happened in the comic, man? It almost seems justified, right? The thing you create will ultimately be the thing that undoes you. Typically is the way, Frankenstein killed his master because he was mistreated. Vought made these things and commercialized them and turned them into puppets. And now, just the treatment of Homelander alone as a child doesn't surprise me that he is the way that he is.
Yeah.
In this universe, it makes perfect sense. And in fact, in this universe, it would make perfect sense, man. Imagine being a superior being paraded around for the enjoyment of your lesser.
Like a clown.
That's
it would be over. It would be over for these guys, man.
The only thing that makes you safe from the lion or the gorilla when you go to the zoo is that thin sheet of glass. But I think there's a video that is appropriate
well
to let you know how those animals feel about you. Have you guys ever seen that video on Instagram where there's a baby at the zoo and it's sitting in front of the glass, the tiger's presentation, and the tiger's licking the glass, and everyone thinks it's so adorable, but we know that
what he's trying to do.
I would pop your top and suck out the brain marrow.
Right. It doesn't revere us. It's not like, look at these superior beings looking at me. It's like, these motherfuckers are food, and if this class wasn't here, it'd be over.
And on that note, I gotta say, probably my second plot, of what we've gotten so far is what's going on with Ryan, actually.
Yes.
So I love it, man. God bless Homelander. He's trying in his own.
He's at least trying. I agree.
In his own crazy way, he's trying. But spoilers, all right? Because we gotta talk about it. So spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. So 3, 2, 1. All right. Yo, when they're filming the movie, and again, it's the boys. It's done comically, but it's just so tragic. When he's trying to act out this scene, and he's supposed to shove the guy away from, but he like sends him flying 60 miles and splatters him into a building.
Yeah.
Yo, my jaw dropped. Right, but it's like played for gags. Like Homelander's like, oh, okay.
Wait, hold on, but you saw that coming, right?
Yeah,
I kind of did. Yeah, like
even when they were training for it, he even says, "Feel free to show me. I can take it." I thought to myself, "He's the son of Homelander. No, you can't. This is gonna go terrible." I knew immediately. I was like, "This is going wrong."
And yeah, like they play it for gags. He just flies and explodes on the side of the building. Right. Poor kid is struggling, and Homelander, in his perverse way, he's like, "What have I told you? People are toys for our You know what I mean? It's just so twisted. You know what I mean? And you can
that's wonderful that he says that, right? Father of the Year.
Conflict in Ryan, you know what I mean? He's trying to consolidate all of it. It's very interesting.
Yo, and even to your point, brother, when Homelander has that moment, he's like, why are you being this way? You have everything I didn't have. I've given you everything, and you lie to me, and I'm like, oh, he really is. It just shows you that sick people can become parents, and they just parent out of their sickness, man.
Wait, hold on. Here's what I'm saying. I do agree with him. His statements are correct. However, once again, children have no reference for that. So a spoiled kid doesn't know what it's like on the streets. Yeah. Right? And so poor Ryan doesn't really know, but it's true. Homelander had nothing. He was stuck in a lab and a slave, basically. And now he gives this kid everything. He's like, I'm going to make you a hero.
Right.
And the kid is even rejecting that. It's crazy. You know, it's I mean, obviously it's a predictable cycle. You know, the kids don't know, you know, it's always, grass is always greener kind of thing. But I actually kind of feel for Homelander in certain ways. He does
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because here's the crazy thing, my brother. Remember the scene from the plane in season 1 where he tells all those people, "Sit down, or I'll laser you right now." And to your question, how could you not be like a part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? How can he not view humans this way? Right? How can you not? It's amazing that Superman doesn't view humans this way, right? It's amazing. He's like, well, how can I be attached to these things? I can't even have coitus with one without an enormous amount of restraint. Even though he somehow did it with Butcher's wife. Who knows how that went down, bro? It's like, of course he feels this way. And I think that's one of the best parts about The Boys, because it's not overly heavy-handed. Homelander is evil because he is the product of evil. He is the product of mistreatment.
Here's what I'm saying. Remember Elizabeth Shue's character? I forget her character's name. Remember Butcher when he had not Butcher. Homelander when he had that affair, he was trying to be a human. And he was being controlled by Elizabeth Shue. She had a really interesting control over him.
He did.
Because he was like in love with her. And so at that time, at the beginning of season 1 and at the time before it, he was at least trying to be a human. And I feel like after he killed Elizabeth Shue's character, that's when it all went to shit. He was like, why do I bother pretending to be one of these things? They're all just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm a god amongst apes.
Stormfront didn't help with that. He went from the chick that had him on a leash to Stormfront. She's like, you just embrace it.
Right.
She really brought out his psychopathic tendencies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bro, it's absolutely amazing, man, because you know what was great about episode 3? You know, Butcher and Homelander, two characters that are completely juxtaposed against each other, but have similar mental struggles, right? Seeing Homelander look into the mirror and his different fractured psyches.
Oh, that was weird.
Back to him, that was absolutely amazing, because when the predominant one was like, it's time for you to let go of this sickness of love. I love that representation, because he has a fractured personality, but at the top of that fractured pyramid, there's one voice in his head, and that's the voice that's guiding him. He's like, you still crave love. And this leads me back to my Star Wars rant about Disney. They don't really know how to write conflicted characters, right? Just think about if we would have saw Anakin actually go through some mental anguish. And it's great to see Homelander go through this mental anguish. And it's even greater to see Butcher falling apart, man. I love that they had that scene with him and Mother's Milk where he's like, too little, too late, Butcher.
That was great. I think it was the end of season episode 2, where he's just Butcher not only saves them, he gives a good reason why they should work together, and he's just like, too little, too fucking late.
Yeah,
and Butcher has to turn around, tuck his tail between his legs, which he's not used to doing.
Nope.
Right.
He's usually the alpha. That was wonderful to watch.
Yes. And we get some great character development with Butcher as well, man. Every opportunity where he's had to do the conniving thing, he hasn't done it. But I love that his homeboy, his partner from the CIA, is like, listen, I absolutely would train my son to be the killer if it meant saving the world. And if he died, I would remember him as a hero. And I'm like, yes, man. Finally, we get the CIA working operatives the way they should be worked, man.
So, about that guy, speaking of evil people with an evil intent, that dude has absolute evil intent. I don't know what it is,
100%.
but he did not randomly run into Butcher. That was totally planned, and I don't know what he's going to do next, but it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to quickly, once again, shit on conservatives. I'm in that mood right now, based on the whole firecracker thing.
Oh, yes.
Right, and so people are so pissed that they brought the QAnon girl Firecracker in. However, she's straight out of reality.
She's 100%. in our reality.
There are people like that in real life.
Yep.
And people are really angry that she exists. People are downvoting the boys just because of her existence.
And it's just like, okay, like, why are you really so mad about it? You don't like the reflection in the mirror, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror, or at least analyze yourself, like live like an examined life, as they say.
It's important.
But like, I found it interesting.
Oh no, 100%. And but again, and this is why I love it. We find out why she has such animosity,
and I love that too. And I love that too, because what they do is they switch it on you. So here's what it is. Right now, you think she's a maniac. You're like, who is this QAnon bitch? Whatever. You're distant conservatives. Blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, actually, Starlight looks like the fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And Firecracker looks like she has a very good reason to come for her.
That's right.
And it justifies the position that we've talked about on here, man. It's so. Remember when I was doing that damn show with Da Vinci, and I was like, the kids you.
I remember it well.
I'm like, the kids you bully can turn into an extremist, and you're accountable. You're culpable in that, man.
You are.
So when you are, and listen, man, as a black man, I believe in racism. I believe in the institution of evil, man. I know what our people have faced and what we still face. But I do know that I've seen well-meaning white people turned into extremists from mistreatment, man. And there's a level of culpability. And I love that Starlight had to deal with that, man. Like, I'm sorry that your mom fucked you over in the past and raised you a certain way. But it doesn't change that you help create a villain. And I feel like that's what the arching theme of The Boys is. Look at the monsters you made. Now deal with them, bro. Like,
right. Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Go ahead, man.
And Frenchie. I was going to say Frenchie's in a similar situation because we don't know what his boyfriend is going to do.
Right.
But imagine what happens when he finds out. That's going to be a villain right there.
That's going to be real. And look, this was kind of minor, but to back your point up, some people are well-meaning, but in how they execute it is not. So, for instance, the man that storms Starlight's, base, looking for the kids in the basement. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Homie thought he was being a hero. It was coming from the right place, but he was incredibly wrong in how he did it.
Right.
He thought he was helping some kids out, but that's not what's going on. So there's layers to it.
There's absolutely layers. And let's not forget, man, that here we have Sister Sage. She orchestrated the same thing. So I'm calling the arms right now. All you conservatives, I got to join in with Mantis and shitting on you right now. This doesn't have anything to do with making the conservative party look like assholes. This has to do with maniacal people knowing how to maneuver people. And that's what the real commentary is about. She's a jaded black hero who still found time to make it seem as if though the Starlighters did it. And I'm sure there's another portion to that we're not seeing yet, but I thought that was a masterful move. And she lined up 2 black men, which was insane.
I noticed that too.
She pulled. Remember that woman that said a black man killed her kids, stole her truck, drove it off the
right, and she was a kidnapper or some shit.
Yeah, and she made up a whole black guy. Had people out there looking for a brother, some random dude she probably saw at Kmart. They brought that same shit here, but it's all about maniacal motherfuckers maneuvering people, man. It's great shit, man. But conservatives are way too sensitive. What's
recently? I mean, they weren't always and it's so annoying to watch this sensitivity happen. But on other fronts, real quick, I gotta tell you, real quick predictions, not major theories, but I'll say, A-Train is done.
Oh, he's
there. Sister Sage is already on to him.
Yeah,
and she's gonna pull that card when she's ready.
Yeah,
she's gonna and he's gonna die this season. A-Train is not making it out, and you know what I think? What they did with Sister Sage? This is a typical television tactic. It's called swapping out the black person.
Oh yeah.
Here's what they do: they introduce a black person because they're gonna kill a black person this season.
I mean, I'm not mad at it, man. The A-Train story arc, it has kind of run its course, man, and also it lends itself to comics, man. Because remember, you can be the fastest man on earth, but you're not faster than the most smartest person in the
yes, right.
Like the Flash is never out thought anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So yeah, he's absolutely donezo in this shit.
Yeah,
I love
for
it, man.
sure.
I love it. I think they're doing a great job, man. Shout out to Seth Rogen. He's the executive producer for this show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Seth Rogen, man. I think they're doing a great job with this shit, man. I'm really enjoying it, bro. I sat down and watched all 3 episodes in preparation of this, and I didn't have to like tune out to YouTube once. I was just like, yo, I'm in this, man. I'm right back in it. I haven't even finished Invincible yet because YouTube ruined it for me. Every time I look at our chat, you're like, if this dude gets his ass whooped one more time, I was like, yeah, I don't need to see that shit. He's not invincible. I've never seen
It's great though. Watch it, brother. Watch it. Yeah, so Pokey says, I think the thing in Butcher's head is reprogramming him like the worms from Futurama. Beneficial symbiosis. Is
I like that.
he says.
I like that. I like
He says, Mantis looks like he could do the Seth Rogen laugh. What the fuck is that supposed to mean, bitch? Fuck you talking about? But yo, this is a great season. I would like to see less dicks. I would like to see less dicks on the show. Wish there was a way to like a cheat to watch the dickless version of the show. But I do love it. I do love it.
Hey, Courtney, I'm Charlotte. Real quick, man. Did you watch the video I sent in the chat of Star Wars Theory, the Anakin video?
Yeah, because I was about to start talking about
I don't know
Acolyte.
if I saw that one. I might have.
Mantis, I'm sorry. Can we just play the video one time for Shaolin, man? Can we play the video?
Yeah, you have it in the chat?
It's in you want me to send it to Discord? Because it's in IG, but I'll send it to you in Discord.
No, I'll get it. I'll find it. No, IG. We gotta scroll.
And while Mantis is looking that up, folks, make sure you check out my man Shaolin Iceboxer and support the movement he's got going on. You want to promote your movement really quickly, brother?
Yeah. So your Saberlight Knights, is fencing, martial arts, lightsabers all combined together. Funny enough, I think this is hilarious. I gotta say this, speaking of Star Wars theory. I started doing this whole thing 10 years ago next year, right? It's funny how it's starting to really get popular.
Is it?
If you guys saw this, Star Wars Theory is going to be holding a tournament in Los Angeles with a $50,000 prize,
Right.
For the winner. So imagine me looking back 10 years ago going, I didn't know I'd be such a trendsetter. I didn't.
Well, no, but here's the thing I need to know. Here's the thing I need to know whether I need to hate this bandwagon jumper motherfucker or not. Are you seeing the benefits to it becoming mainstream?
To an extent. I'm not gonna sit here in front like the interest isn't popping and there isn't some dividends to be made. But it is kind of funny how the wave has become almost tsunami in scope.
So you're saying a lot of people are joining? You have your school is bigger. You're making more money, stuff like that.
Absolutely, there has been growth.
Okay, so the mainstreamity is helping you.
Yeah, so you can think of it like rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do you ever, I gotta say this, and be real, or I guess don't be real. You can be whatever the fuck you want, but it doesn't annoy you that this guy who doesn't train any of that stuff and doesn't have any pedigree in it, just because the fact that he's Star Wars Theory, he can run such a big tournament.
So look, it does to an extent, and I'll tell you why. There is a lot, and people don't know this. There's a lot that goes into running this to make sure that people are. Oh yeah, that people are safe. Guidelines are followed. Quality is lined up across the board. There is rules and guidelines that you have to write to a T. I have books and books and books on how to do this stuff properly and safely. I don't think he has that. So he's going to have this tournament bringing in all these thousands of people. Is this just going to be a hot ass mess? Are people going to be walking? Are we going to have to be calling ambulances? And
is this going to be Firefest 3?
It's going to be run. Like I have staff that have to help me in order to get these things to run properly. It's work. It's hard. So I don't.
Will you be sending any representatives to it to get that bag?
I already told them, look, we have to be there because this is going to be a game changer for this whole thing.
Is your school going?
We have to.
When is it?
So I'll send you guys the video. I don't think there's a date yet. All he said so far is summer 2025 in Los Angeles.
Yo, I want to go.
Let's make it happen.
Even if I don't compete, I want to go with your entourage.
I have to be there. Like, there's no way I can't be there. You know what I mean? This is huge for the sport in general. This is like a paradigm shift. So
I love it. I love that. You just got to do me one favor, brother. You got to represent with the purple lightsaber. Well, who ever thought that Samuel L. Jackson just asking for a purple power would have changed the entire lore of they had to fucking make up a whole bullshit lore
explanation that's
freaking dope, man. I would love if you guys went there and absolutely dominated, right? And then you get up on the mic and you just take a dump on conservative YouTube.
That would be Star Wars girl. This is for you, baby.
She's making
hold up the trophy.
Yo, I can't wait till we talk about the Acolyte, but let's quickly watch what skit this dude did.
The tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. No, I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith who was so powerful and so wise he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
He raises the eyebrows.
Actually save people from death. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. What happened to him? He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which, of course, in the end, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew, and then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself. Is it possible to learn his power? Not from a Jedi.
So far, everything is verbatim from the script. He hasn't deviated.
Chancellor, that reminds me of this one story the Jedi told me about. There were these witches, you see, and they were able to create life. But not just once, twice. They were so powerful, much like this Darth Plagueis, but they were actually successful. They created Force-sensitive beings. You could say they were the first before me. They were the real chose. They were the...
What?
They were my sisters. The Force created them, and the Force created me. I mean, I don't remember Master ever telling me these... I mean, I never heard these tales. That's right. Witches, Chancellor.
What?
2? They died in a fire. Bricks. Well, look at the time. And thank you so much for the fairy tale. And it was a pleasure speaking with you as always, Chancellor. I have some Jedi business to deal with now, and I best be going. Take care. Nice to see you, Anakin.
Yo, his fucking fragile fucking white assness. So it is the funniest thing about this skit is his facial expressions and him trying to act, even though it's clear he knows he's not an actor, so he's being silly. He's hamming it up, hysterical.
Like Frodo.
It was hysterical. Wigs,
like Frodo, bro.
Wigs. He's got the bald cap. He's got the wigs. It's fucking adorable, right? But once again, it's written or it comes from a place of his triggerment. He's like triggered. Is absolutely fucking triggered, and so I am ready to give explanations as to why all these incels and like white supremacists are wrong about the Acolyte.
I'm ready to hear it, man.
So here's what I'm saying. People are pissed that lesbians said a thing. Lesbians said a thing, and we don't even know what the fuck they said. These girls literally say they don't want anyone to know how they created them. But they say nothing else. So let me give you an example. If this is the time of Darth Plagueis, is it possible they learned that power from Darth Plagueis? Maybe Darth Plagueis is involved in creating them. Would that not still maintain canon?
Right.
Why are they so triggered? Why are these guys so fucking triggered about this shit?
So I've been searching the internet for the objective response to the Acolyte, right? And I've come across a few channels that always report on Star Wars lore, everything down from the lightsabers, like we were just joking about before, to legend being decanonized. And the thing from the objective side, or at least they're reporting they're being objective, is that...
Hey, Rogue Radio, welcome in.
What up, Rogue? They feel as if this diminishes Anakin's legacy, right? Because he's not the first being created by the Force. And they feel as if, though, why wasn't this just about Darth Plagueis? Plagueis. Secondly, they report that the issue they have is that the witches just are so hokey and cheesy that none of it makes sense. That it takes them.
It certainly makes sense. Like I admit it is hokey and cheesy, but thank God it's just one episode.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Yes, it's a society ruled by women, so there's going to be stupid shit in it. Right? However, once again, this is just one episode, a flashback episode. We don't have to deal with the witches the rest of it. We can get back to kung fu fighting and lightsaber battles. Right?
I forget how savage you are, man. Sometimes I forget.
Well, I just tell it how it is, man. But I'm saying people are overreacting way much just because of one midnight ritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, you leave a bunch of girls together, they're fucking running in the mud and saying crazy shit. It doesn't make it so, right?
So,
that's the problem.
So check it out. So I am of the mind that they actually removed Darth Plagueis from canon. I fully believe they will not mention anything about because look, Darth Plagueis, man, he actually had a master too. I don't remember. I think it was
Tenebrous.
Look at this man, Darth Tenebrous, right? So already they're messing. With like
how though? Explain this to me.
I mean, maybe they're not messing with it, but to me, it's clear that we're not going to get no Darth. Do you really think they're going to bring Darth Plagueis into this?
Okay, so for instance, my major theory right now is that the apothecary, that little henchman who follows what's her face around May around, is Darth Plagueis.
Okay.
So here's ways that could be. Here's what it is. It could be that Darth Plagueis taught them or gave them the knowledge on how to create life, so he could later on use them as his acolytes.
Okay.
So that's a possibility, right? Or maybe he doesn't know the power, doesn't know how to manipulate the midichlorians yet. In which case, he's the apothecary and he's learning from these girls what made them, so he can duplicate it.
Okay, so I'm not mad at that. I'm actually not mad at that. I like that. If it is Darth Plagueis, this is a nitpick, but they already kind of fundamentally changed him. You know what I mean?
So here's what I'm saying. Remember, I know normally he's a moon, the species wise. However, we all know they have eliminated that canon.
Right. But what about
the Darth? I got another one. Wait, hold on, real quick. I got another one, but this is like super deep lore based on the RPG.
Okay.
So the RPG explanation as to Sidious, this is so interesting. Their take on Sidious was not that he was deformed from the light from the energy being brought back onto him. Yeah. That's his natural Sith face from being a Darksider for so many years. Yeah. And what he uses something called Sith alchemy, where he can change his face to look like a normal person. And then later on, when he was firing it at Mace Windu, he shot it back and it melted his face back to his normal self.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So here's what I'm saying. Moons are essentially look human, however they've got big bulbous heads. Mm-hmm. Is it possible that if the actor Manny Jacinto is playing Plagueis, he's still a moon, and that he's in disguise? Now this is obviously a wish list to maintain it all, but at the end he'll uncover himself and prove for himself.
So real quick, the book with Darth Plagueis, like the basic backstory for Sidious, that was decanonized because that was recognized as a prequel book, right? Was that decanonized itself?
That was decanonized. That was part of the old EU. Everything in the old EU has been eliminated, and we're waiting for Disney to slowly recanonize things.
Darth Plagueis actually died during the Phantom Menace. People don't know that.
Yeah.
So wait, he did?
Sidious killed him during the movie. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That part I've heard before. And so there, right there, my brother. Remember, I'm enjoying the Acolyte. I did not enjoy this last episode. It had its moments, right? But that right there is the root of why people are upset. It's like, so if you're going to replace something that, even though it's been decanonized, that was so beloved and considered so rich in its material and its execution with the witches, I'm not talking about them being lesbians. I'm talking about that what we got in episode 3. I can understand why some people will be taken back by that. I just realized that objectively, we're going to get more of that story. And I'm looking forward to seeing it from the witches, from May's perspective. And I'm also looking forward to seeing it from the Jedi's perspective. Even though the Jedi...
Which we're going to get. I bet you anything, we're going to get flashbacks from both. And it's going to be twisty. The story's going to keep twisting.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. I think... I told you this in private, Mantis. I really enjoyed when the Jedi showed up to the Coven and they walked in, and it was just that juxtapose of two competing different religions, right? I actually don't have a huge issue with the thread because I can breathe out my nose, right? So here in this world, we all understand that the Judeo-Christian or the Abrahamic faiths are all talking about the same thing, but they're most certainly different, right?
Right.
Christianity recognizes Jesus as the Messiah. Muslims recognize him as a great prophet, but he was the Messiah to the Jews, and Muhammad is he's the last prophet presented by God to the rest of the world for all us to fall in line. And the Jews believe that the Messiah has not come yet. Period, point blank. When looking at this concept of the thread, it's just literally that same play. Even though
it's just a different culture describing the Force. They didn't recanonize it. They didn't get rid of the Force. I don't know why everyone is so butthurt. Like, fucking grow up, Star Wars Theory. Fucking Jeremy Johns. I fucking unfollowed all these guys.
Wow.
Tyrone Magnus. These guys can go fuck themselves.
You've unfollowed.
Yeah, because you know what? I here's what it is. It's one thing to give me one review where you hate something. That's fine. Like I said earlier, I don't have to agree with you. But every fucking video is going on and on about why these lesbian space witches are so fucking horrible. You can go fuck yourself, incel. Jeremy Johns plays it off like he's such a hipster. He's a faggot. Okay, he's a faggot with his bottle. He's like, I'm drinking whiskey and I wear all black. I'm so cool. You're a fucking incel faggot. Straight up, okay? Magnus, he's not even black. He's Dominican. Let's all face that fact. Ooh, real quick, Magnus is clearly a Dominican pretending to be black. He's obviously, because, literally every video since the Acolyte has come out of his has been shitting on the Acolyte. He has nothing else to talk about. Well, Dominican, why don't you talk about baseball? The only fucking thing your species knows. Who else do we have? Obviously, I don't have to tell you why Ryan Kinnell or the Quartering are pieces of shit. But I'm saying all these people, or our Star Wars girl, who is really the only reason she has any popularity, she's some TNA. But at the end of the day, I don't need to fucking talk. I don't need to follow any of them. I haven't been following Nerdrotic for a while.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't need any of these guys. If they really want to spend weeks of their time making videos about why the Acolyte is so offensive to them, I don't fucking need it, man.
I need to smoke after that. Good.
The craziest thing about this, man, the absolute crazy thing about it, objectively speaking, nothing's changed about the lore. Right?
Nothing has changed. This is the crazy thing. They're so upset. They're so triggered. I'm watching them squirming, and they're like, "I'm upset. I'm losing it." Like I said, Jeremy Johns, he's drinking hardcore on his reviews. Like he's slamming whiskeys. I'm like, it's not that serious, bro. Some lesbians, like I said, the only thing that happened in the last episode, some lesbians said a thing. That's the only thing that has happened, bro. And if that's what drives you to drink, I feel sorry for your wife or whatever whore you're sleeping with, because she has to deal with a man who's so triggered he drinks over anything. He's like, my childhood television show or movie fucked with canon, and he's slamming alcohol. Well, then your kids are gonna be real fucked up, bro.
So is your position that is this why you have all the smoke for the conservatives tonight? Is that the conservatives are not consistent in their view of I will never ever be so offended by something as to boycott it or be upset by words?
Yes, it used to be like that. It used to be like they could at least take a blow. And so what I'm saying is, in terms of conservatube on YouTube, they could take jabs and they would give jabs back, but they're not giving jabs back. They're literally throwing up in their seats on camera. And I want to be like, you need an anxiety. But here's what it is. Here's a trick to the mantis. I fucking hate people who have anxiety issues. I understand they're humans too. I understand they have problems. They're usually women, or they're usually dudes, or they're women disguised as dudes. Let me put it like that. I don't fucking have any energy for it. When you're watching someone just totally panic, flip out, I'm just like, can you calm down? Like, I don't need it in my fucking life. I don't need it on my YouTube. So I actually unsubscribe to a bunch of dudes. Yeah. And that Dominican Magnus and fucking all these other fake fans, other fake black dudes are all off the table.
Yo, can I just say something here, man? I just want this to go into the court of public record. One day, towards the end of society, as it's being recorded, Mantis and I will finally have the debate to end all things, right? You know, we've gone back and forth on this show, Shaolin, many, many times. And in private discords, I have gone Dark Steve. You guys have been present for it multiple times. And I just want to say, the anger you feel is usually why I go Dark Steve. I cannot stand an inconsistency, but I'll let you wear the black cap tonight, my brother, because it looks good on you. But I mean, let's keep it a bean. This is usually my role on fucking Fanboy, and then I'm arguing with everyone in the chat. And
right.
Like, Meg the Stallion, she's a woman. I'm like, okay, if you can call a dude a fag, I can call Meg the Stallion a dude, and no one ever comes to my aid.
Right. So, I'm the villain tonight.
Here's my thing, though, man. We objectively, from both of you, was episode 3, or I guess subjectively, was episode 3 good? I am going to say it was not good. It was not a good episode. It was okay. But it wasn't the worst thing. And remember, I said this shit. I posed a question with Matt up here. I'm like, I guarantee this is not actually the Star Wars breaking episode they wanted to be.
You did call that, and I think it's totally not. And people who are flipping out are crazy.
Because they need it to be, man. Your pockets get laced. There's money to be made in these YouTube streets.
Right. That's just why I'm against all these guys. All these creators I used to enjoy and I really like. But they are clearly gaining, this is clickbait. They're trying to make money off of it. And I don't stand for it. If you, like I said, if you want to give me one review and you say you didn't like something, that's fine. You're going to go all like a week and a half, 2 weeks of giving me constant complaining. You might as well be Ryan Kinnell.
It's for those views, baby. They're getting those hate views.
For those fucking views. And so I don't have to, I said, I don't have time for the Dominican known as Tyrone Magnus to be doing that, man. You need money. Go fucking work at 32 Flavors or wherever the fuck ghetto ass fucking ice cream place you have in your hood. But
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing about it, man. You're talking about conservatives and conservative commentators being so frustrating to you lately. The thing about it is, though, man, when this all is said and done, right? And I've said this to you about Marvel, right? Yeah, you're under no compulsion to go see anything. You don't have to support anything. But when it's done, what are you going to report on? When they finally tap out Disney and they say, you know what? Fuck this shit. This shit is not lucrative. What do you think happens to the properties? Oh, do you think that they magically will just hand them over?
They're like, George Lucas, there's no way you can afford it, but here's a $14 billion franchise. Here, you do it because Star Wars Theory is upset. And so this will at least make Star Wars Theory happy. Yeah, as if Lucas wants that heat.
Yo, and here's the crazy thing, my brothers. You're all old enough to remember everything starts to look good after a couple of decades, but I remember the hate Lucas was getting. The
prequels were universally hated. As a matter of fact, it's crazy. You know what's crazy? Revenge of the Sith would have easily, if people thought about the prequels the way they do now than they did then, the Revenge of the Sith would have easily broken $1 billion, which was extremely hard to do back in those days. However, it only made $800 million because there were people who still remembered Phantom Menace. They remembered Attack of the Clones. Let's face it, they're not great movies.
Attack of the Clones is just
so hard to watch. So hard to watch. Like, it's one of those movies I flip to the battles.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, so it's really hard to watch. However, Revenge of the Sith is, like, in my opinion, one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. Yet it didn't break $1 billion because people were haters.
And here's the point, right, man? I just want to head anyone off at the past. Let's assume that a larger content creator who has been critiqued tonight would respond to this. So there's a word that's getting thrown around, which is, unless you're a Disney apologist or shill, there's no way you can like this property. And I would say your argumentation falls flat of any real consistent view. It's subjective, man. It's really, really subjective. And the fact of the matter is, I am not a Disney apologist. I thought it was despicable when Homeboy called out Star Wars Theory for crying. I didn't cry.
That was totally fucked up. That was totally fucked up.
I didn't have that emotional connection to that scene in the last episode of The Mandalorian when Luke showed up. But I'm not mad.
I did cry. I also cried.
I'm not mad at this dude. We are not Star Wars shills, man. We've critiqued this shit many a time. I'm just saying that some of you guys aren't consistent in regards to it. Let's get to the review bombing. Let me just say this. Let me just say this, man. The review bombing argument that I've heard recently is that if you accuse someone of review bombing it, then they must be review bombing in the positive for Disney, the critics. So every critic has to be falsely misrepresenting that they enjoyed this, right? No, man, it's a divisive show. You don't like it. Some people do like it, but it did not destroy Star Wars. What we were promised was canon destroying shit, and I watched that episode, and it didn't happen.
It absolutely didn't happen. Why are people reacting like this? It's totally freaking insane.
It was nothing to it. Nothing at all.
There's nothing to it. And once again, we don't know half of it. Like, for instance, about this episode, you asked if it was good or was bad. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't. Here's what I'm saying. It wasn't my favorite because there's no fighting. And I love the kung fu fighting. However, we only saw that event through one person's perspective. The good sister. However, there's clearly all sorts of stuff going on that we don't even know. Why did she start the fire? How did the fire get to the reactor? That's a huge fire. There's no way her little fire caused that. We're gonna get so many reveals along the way. And yet all these people claim to be masters. They're like, and they're shitting on everything. They're like, why did Torben kill himself? That's not the Jedi way. You don't know shit about Torben. Yeah. You do not know shit about Torben. You know what? He ate your mother's ass out right now, and that's why he killed himself.
And now he's got pink eye.
Because he ate the Quartering's mom's ass out, and it was infected with all sorts of fucking gross shit that you Minnesotians have. And so what I'm saying is, I'm done with all these people. And you know what it was? It was at the point where the Quartering, that's another guy I unfollowed. You're right. He used the phrase "shell," He said the Disney shills are. I'm not a fucking Disney shill. I shit on Disney all the time.
Right.
But we're not. And I realize this type of conversation, they don't allow you to have your own opinion.
Yeah.
And so you're an enemy. They immediately turn you into an enemy if you're not with them. Right. And and so I don't know. We've only got 20 minutes, but I would like to bring up the third part of our thing, the YouTube conspiracy.
Oh yeah,
because it's connected to this.
Let's do it.
Critical Drinker had his recent his like fifth or sixth critique of this show taken down by YouTube. Oh, they said he promotes violence.
Yeah.
Quartering has not only had videos about this not approved, but he's been shadow banned, he claims, because he's getting all these low numbers. He's like, what's going on? Right. And it would appear, according to these conservatives, that their videos on Disney shit, particularly the Acolyte, are starting to not gain juice or be allowed on YouTube. They are claiming YouTube is striking against them.
So, okay, man, I can't believe I have to take this position, but often I've said this famously on the show. I find myself defending people that I don't want to defend for the sake of making sure that we're being consistent. But is there a chance in this wide world of sports that maybe, just maybe, people aren't as interested in hearing your opinion as they are forming their own? Is there a chance that the gravy train, and I sent you guys a video where someone pointed out in the algorithm that the conservative anti-woke gravy train might be coming to an end, because how much of that shit can you ingest? Really?
They milked it too much. Now the udder is bleeding.
Yo, so you read my mind, Steve. And actually, man, I gotta say, I practiced that in my own life. Not necessarily with this, but just in general. This world is so turbulent. I had to unplug.
Right.
Any news, I don't listen to anything. If you guys let me know something's going on, I know that way. But otherwise, I unplug because I cannot take it for my own mental health. Right. And part of me is wondering how much of that they're seeing with their numbers, because I don't want to be outraged, and I don't want to be outraged about what's supposed to be entertainment, which is supposed to unplug me from the nonsense of my daily life. I don't want to listen to some, obese clown rant about,
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's really upsetting. That's the opposite of entertainment.
Yeah, like I'll form my own. I'll believe what I want to believe about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some obese clown from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Fucking telling you what Star Wars is and what is good and what is bad.
Right. Like, so part of me's wondering if they're seeing, some of that on their end.
Bro,
now, there's something going on, but
let me cook here, Shalon. Think about this: the rise and fall of one of the most interesting cases ever to hit the internet. Famously, I was doing an impromptu request box live on Spoon, and young Berlin tapped in. It was me, Berlin, and G Forte, and he asked me a question about a content creator who has passed by the name of Kevin Samuels. And he asked me what I thought of the manosphere. I said, I have no real opinion on it yet. I hope they practice what they preach, because your views are either making your life better or they're improving the lives of others. And that's how I choose to measure these things. We have watched the manosphere and the black manosphere topple within our time frame on YouTube.
Yeah.
We watched it completely rise. I spoke to a content creator by the name of El Guapo at his ascent as a manosphere commentator. He's still doing fairly well, but he also pivoted away from the manosphere when he started to see that the ship was sinking. He still preaches the same message, and shout out to him. But we watched that fall. Now, they made a similar claim. YouTube shadow banning me. YouTube's not pushing people to me. Make sure you're still subscribed to me. Or did people start poking holes in your viewpoint? Every woman can't be a trifling bitch that's out to get you, right? Every motherfucker in the group can't be an alpha, right? We can't all be in charge. Then no one's in charge. Right? It's the same thing with and I'm going to use the word conservative and not associate it with any political leanings. I'm going to say they're conservative in their viewpoint in regard to this fandom. They don't want anything to change, and I can relate to that on some level. Yeah. But at a certain point, I'm just like, yo, it's comics. It's movie. Yes, I don't want narratives and agendas pushed, but that's across the board, my brothers. I don't want your fucking crazy right-leaning agenda push, and I don't want some crazy left-leaning agenda. And I think we're seeing them go through the same thing as the Manosphere. How long did you think you were going to be able to sit up on the internet and say shit without any consequences and galvanize people around this viewpoint before motherfuckers are like, all right, this was entertaining, I'm done with it? It's the same thing I say about academics. Shout out to him for what he's been able to do after everyday struggle. But after a certain point, people get sick of hearing you scream, and then they start plotting on your downfall. And that's what's happening, I think, with a lot of these people. Star Wars Girl is the perfect example, man.
Oh God.
Perfect example. If your view can be surmised in one video, why do I need to watch multiple videos?
Right.
Yeah.
You've said it, you don't like it, then fuck off.
Right. And all of the guys I mentioned tonight, all the YouTubers I mentioned tonight, continuously make more Acolyte. You know what it is? I'm not the guy who's obsessed with the Acolyte. I wait weekly to watch it. They are obsessed with it because every day they're making Acolyte things. However, I don't need to watch it, so I'm ready. I just unsubscribe. I'm like, I don't need to see this shit.
But that's the thing, man. And it's like, I think that a lot of these folks are guilty of the same thing they accuse the mainstream media of, which is pushing outraged behavior, right? At a certain point, at the height of this thing, man, I'm telling you, it was the Snyderverse, bro. I'm telling you, it was the Snyder Cut. It was the height of that shit where people started really seeing. I'm like, yo, you might actually just be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
You might actually just be crazy, man. You said last week, Mantis, that these people have way too much power. And we'll get to the YouTube side of the conspiracy because YouTube's not culpable in this shit. But yo, man, is this all your channel is? So that means you're completely reliant on the shit you hate. So if I left, like if Disney left the chat for good and I tuned into your channel, what else are you reporting on?
Right.
That's when they go to the 36 flavors or, whatever.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
That's when that comes.
They have nothing. Their substance is nothing. And what I'm saying is, like I said, they do not have to have my opinion. I'm fine with a bad review. I've watched some bad reviews, and hats off to them. I don't need multiple times a week you telling me how evil it is, how bad it is, how racist it is. F this shit. And so what it is, here's what it ultimately is. I'm choosing to be a fan over a shill. And so they'll say, you're a Disney shill. I'm not a Disney shill. I shit on Disney twice a day. Like I tell Disney what a piece of shit they are all the time. However, if they make something good, I will tell them to make something good. You got to call it as you see it. And so I can enjoy entertainment, I can't follow any of these YouTubers anymore.
So here's a perfect example, man. I want to give you a shout out, man. It's no secret that Rogue Planet came to an end. Now, remember when you made the announcement or the hiatus because you were like, I just cannot cover content anymore. It's depressing. It's making me angry. So you did what anyone did. No goodbye video, no long drawn out video or goodbye. You just stopped covering the shit, man. I know you're going to get back into it, and shout out to you. Shout out to Young Ripper, right? Of all the people we discussed, I'm going to give him his props in this. Said the shit was bullshit, went and made his own shit, right? He actually he put some skin in the game, man. I even got to give Star Wars Theory his credit on that, man. Put some skin in the game. He's making his animated. I don't know how he gets away with that shit without getting sued into the fucking ground, but he's got his Darth Vader series and shit like that. But at a certain point, man, if you're not creating content for the people that you're saying, hey, this is horrible, other than your not hate content, your critique, then what's the point? That's why your numbers are going low, in my opinion, man. It's like, I get it. This shit is pushing a woke agenda. Thanks for the warning, bro. I'm not watching anymore. So now that I'm not watching anymore, unsubscribe. Are you telling me I need to still follow you? Does that make any sense? Like, does it make any sense?
It makes sense to us because we're normal people, but there are a lot of idiots out there who still say, I better stay subscribed to the Quartering because, he hated the Acolyte tomorrow. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? And you're like, bro, his opinion hasn't changed. It's the same video over and over again.
Bros, this is exactly why I run Mic Check the way that I do. I love hip hop, and I have no plans on not talking about it. But that's why every once in a while you're gonna get an episode where it's me talking about this day in hip hop history. Because I don't just want to be that angry voice in the mic. I'm like, look at this fucking buffoonery going on. Hey, did you know Run DMC made an album this day? Like, it's I got to do something else.
There's only so much of that content we can stomach, right? Really? Right.
I do want to, before we end, I got to bring it to a positive note. Is Jordan Peele going to save the Blade movie?
I think so.
Why didn't we think about this before?
If that is facts, then I'm excited. I'm excited if that's happening.
I think he would be an amazing writer and producer, and I'd be okay with him.
I hope that date he put was for Blade. What do you think?
Man, I just don't want to get my hopes up, man. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I think he would give us an interesting interpretation of Blade, man. And even though I didn't really enjoy Handyman, don't say it. Roy and I went to go see his interpretation of Handyman. I think that had to be
he didn't direct it.
He didn't direct it. I would really love that, man. I would really love that. Mantis, are you worried about any blowback for your comments tonight? Are you scared at all, my guy?
So I'm not, because I don't believe in canceling. So it's it's like fairies or dragons and stuff. If you don't believe in them, they can't hurt you. Right. So I don't believe in canceling. So people will come at me and I'll just eye roll them and it's whatever, man. I don't think I said anything too wild. Here's what I'm saying. Every time we have fanboy modeling school, I say some shit. So really, I should have been canceled a long time ago.
Still here.
And what I'm saying is, in terms of all these creators, I will box any one of them, so I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the outcome of that.
That's what it. See, in the great words of Bane, do you feel like you're in control right now?
Right. Do they really feel like if they want to step to me, they can fucking feel free? I'm fine with that.
So look at Sneeko. Look at your man Sneeko, right? Here he thought, safe in his world of conservatism, where there's no rules for the shit that comes out of your fucking mouth, right? Because you're talking to some lowly black bouncer. You really thought you could touch that man's hat. And what is your Uncle Steve always telling you, motherfucker, on this goddamn channel, man? You touch another man, you gotta be ready to knuckle up.
Right.
That's it. And that picture of that dude jumping off the stage with the Superman punch, you can see that his life, his day had been horrible, man. He probably went to the grocery store. They didn't have his favorite shit at the grocery store. His woman's laying into him. Like, you still working at that bum motherfucking job? You're fucking bouncing in your 50s? This man's been shitted on his entire life. And now he's got to let some fucking Filipino kid who got sunned up and by his girl getting fucked in front of him disrespect him because he's got a Charlie Kirk looking motherfucker with him. You really think this is how the real world operates? Do you really think that your conservative aptitude for being able to break down the philosophical points in anyone's argument, do you think that shit's gonna stop a nigga from punching you in your mouth?
Right. Yo, the best take I've seen on it is someone asked, they said, wasn't Sneeko surrounded by his crew? His crew did nothing when the bouncer hit him, which proves that's not really his crew, and really he has no respect on the streets.
So how much does a man take before he just drops off the internet, just gets a normal job, just moves away so people don't recognize him anymore? Because my man.
Watching him is hard because what it is Sneeko is the story of a boy. Yes. He is not yet a man.
Yep.
He's trying to figure out how to be a man. We have to watch the horror story of him trying to be a man. He's like, maybe I'll try boxing. And that failed. He's like, I'm going to try to man up this one point. That's what little kids do. You know, little kids, like, you know, when you're 7, you test the bouncer. Not when you're fucking 29. And you try to test the bouncer. It's so pathetic. You know, don't do that unless you can throw down, or your people are going to throw down. His people didn't have his back at all, and so all we ever see with Sneeko are L's. It might be clickbait for now, like we were saying about the other guys.
Yeah,
their negativity was bringing clickbait, but how long will it last? It's probably going to come to an end soon.
I hope so.
Where people are like, I'm tired of watching you take it in the mouth, bro.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Literally and figuratively.
Oh yeah,
hang it up. Brother.
He's sucking mad dick.
Bro,
He's sucking all sorts of dick, and he thinks he's supposed to, because he's like, in the modern age, everyone's gay. No, dude, you read that in a magazine.
You know what the craziest part is about the whole fighting a bouncer thing, man? Little story time before we sign off. Shaolin, one night I was up visiting Mantis at his college, right? And a short bouncer. And take it from a crew, we've had our fair share of misunderstandings with bouncers. But the problem is we rolled deep, right? My bachelor party, we were rolling deep. That bouncer recognized that I was with like 8 of my homeboys, and they had all been drinking all night. We just came from seeing a horrible movie. He was going to get stomped out. But I was up visiting Mantis in his college, right? And the bouncer rubbed me the wrong way. And I had been drinking some courage juice. But I knew I was going to lose that fight. I wasn't surprised by anything that was going to happen. I'm just like, you just got life and shit fucked up, my man. I don't give a fuck that you're Italian. You're CK1. You're fucking chained because you watch the Sopranos. You think you're a fucking gangster. I'm going to have to call that card. And if I lose, well, fuck it. But I'm going to have to call that card. Sneeko's the type of kid, as you said, we're watching a boy become a man. He will forever be that dude that gets punked.
Yeah,
in front of his boy.
That's him.
He will always be that guy. And you know why he will always be that guy? Because he doesn't understand the golden rule, which is shut the fuck up. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up, bro. And just take your L graciously. Live to fight another day. The dude, it just blows my mind. And this is my issue with a lot of intellectuals, man. You don't understand that your ivory tower conceptions of how the world works isn't how it actually works.
Yeah.
Like one of his homeboys actually said, we're going to go about this the right way and press charges. Okay. Sneeko put his hands on that guy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's and I love watching a liberal or an intellectual try to press charges on people. It often, if you've seen clips, you know, I love Rita Panhani from Sky News in Australia. She does the segment called Lefties Losing It. And like, you know, during all the protests that have been going on, she had video of all these people who got arrested during the protest and thought they were above the law. Most of them are professors.
Yeah.
And like, yo, there's a professor who slaps a cop, gets arrested, and as she's walking away, the body cam shows her say, I didn't punch him. I very lightly tapped him on the face to get his attention.
Sad.
We have other professors who are literally saying, you don't know who I am. You can't arrest me. I'm the head of the philosophy department, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
in the back of the car.
These people are fucking idiots.
Hey, yo. I got to say real quick, and I know we're done, but I got to say, you know, as you guys know, I was a bouncer for a couple of years.
Yes.
So I've been on the other side, and I was always taught a good bouncer is the one that makes friends with everybody, right?
Right.
So if a bouncer is aggressive and all up in your grill, like, you know, from the onset, then you got a bad bouncer.
Right.
Bouncer should be able to de-escalate all the problems without violence.
Yeah,
and Courtney, you remember that night that we went to? It's where Umlaut was, you know, that place on the downtown mall, and that bouncer was on our case from from the drop.
I thought about that recently. You weren't having it either. Y'all were both.
Yeah, I was like, I got a crew of people. I'll end you and your waitress. He's trying to defend a waitress. The waitress gave us attitude. Here's what it is. He gave us problems when we walked in. Then the waitress gave us issues. Then he gave us problems about giving her problems.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm ready to do this because, there were like 5 or 6 of us. I was like, I'm ready to do this.
It was a whole. I'm glad we got out of that unscathed. That was tension right there.
It's the core principle of shut the fuck up. The same night we got into it with the bouncer on my bachelor party, we were in I don't know what part of Brooklyn we were in, but we're in the White Castles, Shaolin. And this is the second time I've been to this White Castles with the same homeboy. And I told him, man, I'm sorry, trigger word coming in. These niggas do not fuck around in this neighborhood. I know this neighborhood. I know the type of dudes. This is the last vestige of old school Brooklyn. And these dudes do not fuck around, man. And we're in the White Castle. And my homeboy is arguing with a dude. And homeboy has a blick on him. And Mantis is drunk. My sibling is drunk. Everyone's drunk but me. And I'll never forget the moment of frustration when my homeboy's arguing with this dude. And I have to step in between them. And no, I did not feel like a bitch. Because he's arguing with this dude. But I'm looking at the goons in the background. Yeah. Right. And they're looking at me like, you better get your man before we terminate all you niggas. Right now. And message received. This is not a fight that the Haven is going to win. We got to take. That's the one thing about growing up in New York and running with these guys, man, for so long. There's so many times where me, Mantis, and our homies have been in situations where I'm like, we are going to lose this fight. And we just shut the fuck up and take the L. Remember that time we would come back from the movie and you and Sully are walking me back to my mom's house because I had beef with these dudes on my block? And who's on the block, Shaolin? All 86 of the niggas I got beef with.
Yeah. Yes, I do remember. I do fucking remember that. Fucking.
And it was the first time I learned, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Mantis and Sully were like, yo, we're crossing the street. I'm like, no, we're going to walk right through these niggas.
Yeah, I was like, yo.
Say the smartest thing I've ever done.
Right. Like, I was like, you see that crowd? That's not happening.
Just shut the fuck up.
I got 2. Sully's got 1.5.
Right.
You're gonna take the other 29. So,
yo, great episode tonight, man. Real quick before we wrap, predictions for this episode tonight. What do you think we're gonna see?
I want more Sith Lord. That's what I want. I want more. I want more. That's what I want. I want more to Sith.
I believe the Sith Lord is Plagueis. I absolutely do think that he's a young Plagueis.
I hope you're right.
And I think that he is probably Manny Jacinto. You know, the what do they call him? Cormier. You know, the apothecary of the planet.
Right.
The guy from The Good Place.
Clearly him, because he recited the first line of the Sith code. Yeah. I love that little touch.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's how are people not talking? Here's what it is. They're trashing the show, but they're not pointing that out. Yep. You should, if you took time to watch the show, you should be gassed about that.
Yeah.
And so he's clearly, and also the fact that he could handle himself when he went to May. Yeah. May was like, "I'll kill you," and he's like, and he just like, and I was like, "She can't. She's a Force user. She can't stand up to this dude." So, what is going on? So, honestly, I love the idea of Kalnaka. There's a GIF going around of Kalnaka. Yeah. Jumping with the lightsaber. Whatever that is, I want to see that. That's what I want to see.
So here's also a theory that's going around, man, and it may be predictable, but it'd be cold as hell. The beloved character from Squid Games. People think that he's the Sith Lord.
I see that going. It doesn't make sense.
No, and the reason they think that he's the Sith Lord is because, like, if he turns out, just because I can kind of see where they're coming from. He is preying on one twin, if you're assuming that point of view, one twin in particular. The dark side often goes for the unlikely person, or I hope it would. How much better would it be to make the good twin fall?
Like a child molester.
Yeah. How much better would it be to make the good twin fall to the dark side?
So I've thought about that. I was like, maybe May will die and Osha will turn to the dark side to balance. Other ones, I don't know if you've seen this one from Screen Crush. It wasn't him, but it was one of his contributors. They said that they believe that May and Osha are sharing the same body.
Yeah. I've seen that one too.
And the Jedi, here's what it is. The Jedi are here's what it is. May and Osha are sharing the same body. The idea is that May died. Remember, she fell. She fell and soul save Osha.
Yeah.
And so the spirit of her occasionally possesses
Oh my goodness.
Osha. And what he said is that the symbol appears on her forehead when she's being possessed.
But how would they make?
She's the avenging, she's the Ghost Rider. I was going to say avenging spirit, but a Ghost Rider of that planet's witches.
That's true.
And so the major thing that makes me think it's possible is that in the first episode, remember, when you go to that that ship that she's working on, she's walking down the hall, and the opening line of that scene is that her friend says, "You didn't come to the party on Nar Shaddaa the other day. It was amazing," kind of shit. And she gives no explanation. So she was physically absent.
Right.
From the group activity. Where was she? What was she doing?
But the only thing
was
is,
she assassinating a Jedi? I don't know.
The only thing is, an attack happened while she was with them. Then the Green Lady addressed that. She's like, "There's no way she was in both places at the same time."
The Green Lady doesn't know shit. She's green. She's bald. And those are two reasons not to trust a woman. She's green and she's bald.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get into this shit, man.
I can't wait to see tonight's episode. I'm really excited. And here's what I'm saying. This is the mark of a good show. Even if you have problems with the show, if you can't wait for the show to air, it's doing its job.
Yes, absolutely.
It's absolutely doing its job. And I'm tired of all the haters on YouTube, and I'm done with all of them. They're all gone. Even my future ex-wife, that Star Wars girl. Apparently she's married some other nigga and she's fucking pregnant. So, once again, a used up hoe. What else is new? So I don't need it. I don't need it, bro.
I mean, she did suffer from Nasitol. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard, I don't know acetol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a flatback type of woman. Folks, another episode of Fanboy Modeling School, man. Things were said, things were done. Bantus, where can the people find you and keep up with you, brother?
Yo, you motherfuckers need to catch up with us every weekday night at 6 p.m. starting on Monday on Riz Radio. You can catch us on rizradio.com, or you can hit us up on the Live 365 app, which has all of the radio that you need. We play today's best music, and you need to be there for that. Or you can hit my individual show up, Burn Your Degree, on Sundays at 6 p.m. I keep it extremely real. I keep it less entertainment friendly, but I'm just as foul-mouthed, so you're going to love it.
Yo, you can catch your boy over on Mic Check on Riz Video Live 365 Thursdays and Sundays, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. But folks, make sure you also tap in with the Riz Radio website, where the show is actually, all shows are streaming on the website. And I want to point that out, right? Why don't you put a little bit of money into our pocket? Typically, this is the part where I tell you to download Live 365. I would rather
fuck those motherfuckers.
I would rather you go to the website and support their. You got all the bios and breakouts for every independent radio host. I'll see you folks around the corner.
And so, Shaolin, where can they find you? What's the deal?
Hey, you want to connect with me personally, Shaolin Iceboxer. You can find me that way. And then Saberlight Nights, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all over the place. You can look forward to us sweeping that tournament next summer.
Hell yeah. And if you're in the Charlottesville area and you want to learn the Jedi arts in a fun, athletic way that you both get a workout and you learn to beat people's asses, please check out the Saberlight Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Until next time, ciao for now, bitches.